Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds, hanging out with
Ted.
And today we will be doing another edition of Dungeons & Dragons Monsters Slithering Out of the Darkness, the Naga.
Jump down to the description below. You can sign up for Nerdarchy, the newsletter. It's a great way to get gaming tips, as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
So you can find the Naga in your monster manual on page... Cannot see in the dark.
233 and 234.
Yeah, pretty much that. Sorry, guys, I'm getting old. My eyes.
So I know you guys are already probably jumping down to the comments to say it's not Naga, it's Naga, it's not Naga, it's Naga. However you feel like pronouncing it is
or something completely different.
Exactly. However you feel like pronouncing it. We're talking about the giant serpent monsters.
So, yeah, you know, they're large, they're in charge, they're snaky. So what's really cool about the Naga is, I find, interesting is the rivalry with the Yuan-ti. Mm-hmm. So I feel like there's a lot of room for you to use that in your plots and your adventure hooks. And I mean, you could really even do a campaign around this war between the Naga and the Yuan-ti in your game.
Absolutely.
At first, we're going to do this monster. I haven't read the Naga in quite a while, and I'm thinking, these would be great to use with the Yuan-ti.
Nope.
Apparently not. They don't get along very well. And the fact that the Bone Naga was created as a way to stop the immortality process of the Naga by the Yuan-ti. I'm like, huh. Well, how hard was it for him to kind of like capture them and turn them into bone Nagas?
So like that to me automatically was like, well, what happens if the bone Naga are lawful evil, but they're significantly weaker than whatever their counterparts are.
Yeah. So the Naga ranges from CR4 to CR10.
Right. It doesn't show like what type of Naga is turned into a bone Naga, so it could be either.
Yes.
So what if you've got a spirit Naga that has been turned into a bone Naga, and knowing, what it knows, perhaps it implores upon the aid of the players to say, I'm a benevolent creature.
I'm the guardian Naga, yeah.
Can you destroy me so that I can return to my proper form? And lo and behold,
Well, no, it wouldn't work because the bone Nagas don't regenerate.
Well, if you actually look at the story portion, that it says that it halts that process.
Yes.
So it halts it. It doesn't, completely stop it from happening. It just, I don't know. My interpretation was that it slowed it down.
No, it's the only way to stop the process. It actually stops the process because...
No, well, it under the description of rejuvenation, it says only a wish stops them from being able to not rejuvenate.
Yeah, but if you look under the bone Naga, they do not have rejuvenation.
They don't, because they don't come back as this. They come back as the other thing.
As a bone Naga?
Well, no. When a bone Naga dies, it should come back in 1d6 days as either of the things that they...
It would have to have the ability of rejuvenation for that to happen. If you look, it's a stat block. It does not have it.
All right, forget what's written in the book then.
No.
Look at the story.
The story is the Yuan-ti created the bone Naga to stop them from coming back and keep them from being immortal.
Oh, okay. Well, you can do what you want in your game. In my game, I would totally allow.
You can totally not do what you want in your game. And neither can Ted. It's forbidden. No.
Yes, you must do exactly what the book tells you.
I thought you were actually onto something with that because, what if, instead the bone Naga, I was going with because it's stupid. Like the whole idea, destroy me, I come back as what I was. No, because it would just commit suicide. Like, doesn't even make any sense. I'll just jump into a pit of lava and I'll come back as my former self. No. But what he could do is implore, adventurers to help him find the cure and restore him to his former self. Possibly through like a wish spell or something. Magic equally as powerful.
Right.
Hey, go get the genie's lamp for me. And I don't have any hands. Can you rub it for me? No. Go get the genie's lamp for me, and I only require one of the wishes. You guys can have the other two. But he's evil, so he's going to betray them and go back on his word anyway and not give it to them. And he's going to come back as a spirit Naga, not the guardian Naga.
Right.
and they're like, "Hey, you're the wrong color."
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, and it's last to your face.
Charm you, kill you.
So, so that's how I kind of would have handled it. That would be an awesome idea for a story, and then the plot twist at the end. And perhaps I don't know, you could what you would do for proof. You could definitely fabricate some. This is a very long. These are long-lived creatures, so you could also fabricate some evidence to show that he was actually the guardian, which won't be true.
Right. Well, of course. I mean the thing's chaotic evil. It's got the wherewithal and enough spell casting here. To...
what if it showed off what it, which is it's actually his trophy room, but what it says is that it's a memento room of all these guardian Naga skins, and it's we're snakes, we shed our skin, and I saved mine. Clearly, you can see that, and someone who's really knowledgeable or can do the research can be like, oh, that is a guardian Naga skin. But the reality is they're actually guardian Naga skins from guardians that he's figured out how to destroy.
Right. So now that's one avenue that you can do. The other thing to look at when you've got these guys is if you're actually dealing with a spirit Naga or the guardian Naga as adversaries, it's something that you have to take into account that they're gonna have treasure, they're gonna have trophies and things, but they're gonna come back. So they're gonna be a constant threat. And until you surpass them in levels so much that they're not a challenge, they're gonna be there for a while. So you have to figure out a way to stop them from being able to get to you.
Yeah, you need that wish spell. No, well, you're absolutely right. But even more so, I don't feel like they would ever not be a threat because they're very intelligent. 15s and 16s in your mental stats is no chump. Maybe they can't physically threaten you anymore personally, but they can threaten the things you care about. They can get allies. They can find ways to seek more power.
And don't forget the fact that the Spirit Naga is all about the charm, so it's going to have the ability to charm people and charm people and monsters and things into doing its dirty work.
Well, sure, and I also see them maybe they broker deals to become more powerful. You could as a GM, you could make them stronger than they already are. You could make one equivalent to an Archmage instead of. The piddly 5th level spellcaster, the ability that they have.
5th level isn't piddly, but jumping up to 6th and 7th level, you could do some serious issues with that.
Yeah, so there's definitely some room for that. You could use this monster at low levels too, either as a quest giver, as an interesting NPC. Even the evil version, you could have interactions with as long as the players have something of value to offer where they're worth more alive than they are dead.
Right. And, perhaps the story is twisted and, he's evil, but that doesn't mean that he's a, bloodthirsty, murderer that's trying to take over things. He goes about getting things, however he sees fit. And perhaps this, he's got something that the players need. Perhaps there's information that needs to change hands. At one point in time, these guys were guardians of long lost, lore and treasure and what have you. So it's powerful and it's got that presence. It's got that something that
you need. I could definitely see you come upon a village, a jungle village, where these things are worshipped like gods, and they, sacrifices have to be made, tributes have to be paid. Even a good one would demand the same thing because even though they're good. And it kind of says they're benevolent, but at the same time, they're very as a race, as a species, they're very authoritarian, so the good ones could still be kind of dicks to have to work for.
That's true.
So you might come across a village and they're under the yoke of the Naga, and the quest could kind of be to free them of that, or you could have a village that's stuck between Naga and Yanti and this war, and both of them demand tribute, and the village is just being choked out.
Right.
and maybe they're in an area where it's not easy for them to leave, or they don't want to leave for whatever reason.
You know, you've got Naga on this side, you've got Yonti on that side, and harsh area to the left and the right.
Yeah. So their way out is through
Either
one
side.
snake or another.
Right.
So you could definitely do some interesting things with these guys as your bad guys.
Absolutely.
And then also, there's definitely no reason why you couldn't have them kind of do the wolf in sheep's clothing too. Like, sure, they don't necessarily have polymorph or shape change abilities, but you could give it to them, or there's other ways of having it.
Right.
What if the king's advisor is actually a Naga and he's actually the puppet of the king? So there, you can go totally into a political route with things. What if it's a despot that's been like taken over and is controlled by the Guardian Naga, right? Seems like a good thing, except for now it's causing conflicts with these other tyrants and despots in the area, and kind of like they were all kind of holding each other in check. Mm-hmm. But now your tyrant is acting weird and kind of weak in some ways, and it's actually creating these other threats with these other kingdoms that before. Because this despot was so tyrannical, he was able to hold them at bay and hold them off. But now, like, he's got this softer, gentler side, and he's not the man that he was. So it's creating.
So the other ones
imbalance.
are sensing weakness. So like, now is the time to strike.
And then and it turns out, like, when the players uncover it, it's actually the good guy that has actually turned the evil guy. But they kind of need the evil guy right now, because otherwise this kingdom is going to get overwhelmed.
Right.
Or they need a different solution. And because the way this Guardian Naga is, I know I've been around forever. You guys don't know anything. This is how it has to be done. And he's just set in his ways, and he's not willing to compromise his principles.
Misguided.
Exactly. So I feel like there's a ton of ideas you could use for adventures. What if a spirit Naga just went about creating a collection of its own bone Nagas, and and had a way to control them, like an artifact or something,
right?
And it was hunting them down, and like maybe it could even pose as the Guardian Naga, right? And tricks adventurers into bringing back other Nagas to it, either good or bad. It doesn't really care. It's creating an army of bone Nagas under its control. So
it'd be perverted and messed up, but
but doable, right?
Yeah.
Or you could flip it. Maybe it's the Guardian Naga doing it, sending them out against the evil ones.
Right.
But he's like, well, we can't kill them. We can't make them good. The next best thing I can do is make necro slaves out of them.
And that's the best way to stop them from their evil ways.
Yeah. And I don't want to destroy them either. So So I had no choice but to convert them to undead, and then, just destroying them to destroy them, that doesn't seem right either.
So I'll leave them there.
So I leave them there. So you end up with this necropolis of bone Nagas. What could possibly go wrong?
Artifact gets stolen. Plot continues.
So there's a handful of ideas of the way you guys could try and use a Naga in your game. Let us know if you have used a Naga in your game, or if you have better ideas than ours. We have a place for it. It's called the comments. While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can tweet at us at Nerdarchy.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.